Hi, it's Crafty Chica. I just finished making clay planters and I thought I would share my process with you. Yes, you can make these with air dried clay. I will get to that in a minute, but for right now, let's go over the supplies that you will need. Of course, you'll need clay rolled out to a 1/4 inch thick, templates, a needle tool, a wooden rib, a wood sculpting tool, a sponge, rolling pin, cup of water, slip, a medium brush, and a canvas surface to work on. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is set out your clay and use the wooden rib to compress it on both sides. For these planters, I'm using some stamped designs, so I have these rolling pins. They're actually meant for baking, but they work great for clay as well. Of course, after you use them for ceramics, you can't use them for baking, but it's worth it. Okay, now you're going to go in with your template. This template is 4 inches by 12 inches. And the cup that I'm using to make the bottom is 4 inches in diameter. So pull away the excess and set that aside in a plastic bag so that it won't dry out. And now you're going to cut what will be the bottom of your planter. So again, I use this acrylic cup. It's perfect. It's 4 inches in diameter, and I also use it to shape my planters as they're drying. I'll show you that in a minute as well. So you're going to just trim off any excess, smooth the edges on both sides, and take your needle tool, put it in the middle, and create the little drainage hole right there in the center. Remove the excess clay, and then if you want to sign it or stamp your name, this is a good time to do that. Okay, you're going to take this piece and set it aside for now because we are going to move on to building the actual planter. I'm self-taught. I've watched a lot of videos, but this is what works for me. You're going to use your needle tool and you're going to cut one end at a diagonal underneath, and then see how that has that little beveled edge. Flip the whole piece of clay over and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. I had already did the other side. So now you're going to take your needle tool and you're going to put in some little hash marks, and this will help join it together. And now I'm using some slip, which is just some pieces of clay with water mixed until it makes a creamy concoction, and go in and join those two slanted edge together. And you can use your wood sculpting tool to just kind of seal up the edges so it's nice and even. Some people just like to wrap it around and seal it that way so you can actually see the flap, but I usually like to smooth it out so it looks super uniform. And then you can go in with your needle tool and just kind of clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up. And I smoothed out the edges and the tops, and this is where that cup comes back in handy. And I like how it kind of tapers down at the bottom because it works with different sizes of planters that I'm making. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you can get one of these Lazy Susans, you can get them at the dollar store. They come in handy for ceramics because it's just so easy to work on your project if you can spin the little table around. So now I am creating some hash marks in both ends, adding slips so I can put the bottom onto the planter. Now make sure, if you used a stamped design, make sure you're putting this on the bottom so that it won't be upside down. I did that accidentally before. I'll never make that mistake again. Go around and press that bottom into the body of the planter. So you just kind of want to make sure that the edges are nice and firmly connected. And then you can go in with your needle tool and clean up any excess clay. Now let's talk air dry clay. Yes, you can do the same method for air dry clay, but you won't be able to use it as a vessel to hold water or an actual plant because the air dry clay will break down. So you can still make a planter. You really don't even need to put a hole at the bottom. You could just take your plant and put it in, leave it in the cup that it comes in, and then put it inside of the planter. Okay, so now to smooth out the inside, you're going to roll a skinny piece of clay, drop it inside of the planter, and use the sculpting tool to push it where the two ends meet. And now you're going to use your sculpting tool. You could add some slip and a little bit of water to moisten it up to make it easy. So you can go in with your tool and you're going to blend that little roll of clay into the bottom and the side of the planter, and that way it will look nice and uniform. It will make sure that no water or anything gets trapped in there. It'll be one uniform piece. And then I put the cup in again to get that nice round shape, and I'm using my fingers just to kind of shape it so it all looks super even. Remove the cup, smooth out the edges as much as you want. You could have like a flat edge, or you could trim off the excess to make it a little bit rounded. So once you have it done, you could leave it like this, or you could go next level like I did and add some more elements to it. I created all kinds of handmade pieces that I added them by fusing them, by scoring them in the slip and putting them together. Now they're going to air dry, and then I'll fire them at cone 04, and then I can glaze them and fire them again at cone 06. I'll have a part 2 coming up for that. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you like it. If so, give this video a like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And check out my other ceramic videos and craftychica.com for all kinds of other crafty ideas like junk journaling, ceramics, and so much more. Thanks.